Good morning, everybody. It's the BK Experience on the Spilt Milk Show with the B. And today I'm going to be doing a lot of bitching. Let me tell you what, because I screwed up myself pretty good, and I need to figure out a way to fix it. Plus, we're going to be talking about the U.S. Army's biggest tank they got, health benefits of a hug, how a minor narc ratted somebody out on Snapchat and they came to the rescue, and the ultimate parental security smartphone. All coming up. All right, so here I go about my complaining. Here's my problem, right? So I went to the peer support classes and I was all proud of myself, and look at me go, and I get my certification, and I applied for the job, and they called me back like super fast. Right when I got home, I just got on my computer and they called me back to say, hey, we need your full resume. We want to get things moving. We just need to know if you've had any traffic violations. As a matter of fact, I have. So, because I have had a traffic violation, because I now have an SR22, I cannot get a job there because I have to be able to drive. What a ripoff. All that work for nothing. And I just can't, I'm so frustrated with myself because of the fact I like the idea of this job. I think I'm gonna be great at, because I literally think I am gonna be good at this. I like making people feel good about themselves. I like the idea of someone knowing how fantastic they can be just by being themselves. I did a whole tour at libraries over this thing. You know, I went to libraries and I told kids to be as original as they should be. You don't have to work so far out of the box, you just have to work within your box. And that sounded weird. And so I think that I would be good at it. I think that I can help people understand that even in addiction, it's really, you're human, all right? Addictions happen to everybody. Whether you get addicted to Netflix, or you get addicted to drugs, or you get addicted to Oreo cookies, which was my greatest example of how an addiction works, is for 3 days straight I wanted Oreo cookies, right? I really wanted them. I couldn't stop thinking about them. And I was laying in bed trying to take a napper, and all of a sudden I pop up going, I need Oreos. That's it. I'm doing it. So I went to the store and got myself some Oreo cookies. Now that feeling I had of the Oreo cookies was the same feeling I get when I'm addicted to something, right? For instance, cigarettes. Or when I thought I wanted to go out and party. I felt like it was so important to me to go do that, that it totally engulfed my brain, and everything I wanted to do from that point in time had to be after I took care of the priority, which was the partying or my cigarette, right? And my cigarettes are still a problem. I don't party anymore, but that being the case, Oreo cookies, same feeling. When I realized that, I realized something very important, that when we fiend for something or really want something because we're addicted to the idea of it, we can taste it, we can feel it in our hands, we know what it's going to be like, we know the satisfaction we're going to get from eating it. There's a substantial difference, obviously, between Oreo cookies and partying. One of them will destroy my life, the other one will allow me to enjoy a delicious, delightful dessert. So I understand there's a substantial difference, but the main focus is the addiction itself. Because while I might not eat Oreo cookies every day, because I don't, I do like them sometimes, and I like them overwhelmingly, and I don't know why, I just do. I just like Oreo cookies every once in a while. But I can overcome it. So if I can overcome that feeling, and it lasted me 3 days before I finally gave in, and the only reason I gave in is because I know Oreo cookies won't destroy my life. It's just I didn't want to walk to the store, and I felt like I don't really need to spend the money on Oreo cookies. Not like I don't have money for Oreo cookies because they're only $1, but still, it's the principle of the thing. So knowing that sort of stuff, and knowing where my character defects or my flaws have became principles in me succeeding in life, I know that I can convince other people the same thing. I think I can help them understand where they can become better and why they can become better. And not by reshaping their lives, but harnessing their personality and their character and making sure it shines through what might be the walls in their life to keep them from improving. So the wall in my life has been this SR22. So I checked out and I saw, I guess I could go to an administrative judge from the MVD and ask them to lift the SR22, which is probably not going to happen. So I'm screwed on getting a job in NASCAR, and I have an SR22 for 3 years. 3 years! The DMV has decided that they no longer want me to participate in life because I didn't have insurance. I understand it was my fault, right? So me trying to blame the MVD for this happening is ridiculous because it is my fault. I was the one that didn't have insurance registration. I was the one driving my car around. but for 3 years, so I can constantly blame them in the back of my head for me not succeeding in this field. However, it is still my fault, no matter how I want to look at it. So I keep trying to bring myself back to that. Well, if you would have just had insurance and registration. Well, if they could just forgive me, you know what I mean, then I would have a job. Well, you didn't have insurance and registration. You didn't pay for it. Yeah, but I mean, I could help a lot of people if they would just lift this SR22, you know, and so it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I'm trying to get a hold and a grasp on that. And I have other places I can apply. I just really wanted to work there because the teacher, Kaylee, that was teaching, she's really inquisitive and she likes to learn about other paths and other ways to come across, whether it's an SMI person, which is severe mental illness, which I would also work with in order to help them succeed in their day-to-day. But also for addicts, there's lots of things in this world and lots of paths you can take in order to get to your end game goal. And I like people that know that, you know, that don't assume that their way is the best. I like people that assume that there are better ways and their way can be great, but if they maybe incorporate some other great ways, it'll become even better. Anywho, so that's my bitching for today. Let's get to some stories.
Did you know Valley View Medical Center's mission is making communities healthier? We do that by offering a spectrum of services locally. Procedures for gastroenterology, orthopedic, ear, nose, and throat, pulmonary, women's health, and more are performed at the medical center. Whether inpatient or outpatient, you can confidently stay close to home for your joint replacement, colonoscopy, or ENT procedures. To learn more, go to valleyviewmedicalcenter.net.
The U.S. Army is headed to Europe. It sounds like a headline out of a war, but it's not. And one of the most dangerous fighting vehicles being sent that way is named Baby Yoda. That's right, the tank is part of an entire division's worth of combat troops and equipment being shipped across the Atlantic to prove that the U.S. military can quickly send reinforcements to its NATO allies if need be. Well, like, you want us to race? You want to see this? Get them, fellas, get them. So, boom, they're off, right? So they're going to cross the Atlantic in record time. The tank Baby Yoda belongs to the 3rd Infantry Division of Fort Stewart, Georgia. The Rock of the Marne, it's called, division, is participating in Exercise Defender Europe 2020. I don't know if participating in Exercise Defender Europe 2020 is a great name, but Defender Europe 2020 probably would have been good enough. That would have sufficed, but you got to throw exercise in there. So everybody knows that nothing's really happening. We're not defending anything. We're just exercising our ability to. Which will see a division-sized unit of U.S. Army combat troops, or about 16,000 soldiers, 300 tanks, and 300 infantry fighting vehicles loaded on ships in the continental U.S. and then shipped to the German port of Bremerhaven. Baby Yoda is a M1A2 Abrams main battle tank belonging to the 3rd Division. And this is all from Popular Mechanics. They're the ones that told us about it. So this Baby Yoda tank, though, you can see it up in the little quarter panel thing up here. And it looks burly, I guess. There's no really solid pictures of it. Maybe they're keeping it under wraps, but that's as good as it gets. And it says Baby Yoda on the actual gun, so it's pretty legit. So you ever wonder if a hug's important? Well, hugging improves our mood, turns down our response to stress, and can even boost our immune system, making us healthier. And all we gotta do is give and get more hugs. This is all from Michael Murphy, PhD, a postdoctoral research associate at Carnegie Mellon University and one of several researchers to study the benefits of hugging, a topic that's gaining attention in the wellness world. Professional cuddlers not offer hugs in studios or their homes so clients can reap the benefits of human touch. And across the country, lay huggers are organizing cuddle parties in which guests snuggle with strangers to feel happier and more connected. That's kind of pervy. I mean, I get it. I guess if you're only hugging, but I don't know how long. As long as we're not spooning, because I can't spoon for very long. I get like way overly excited. Others, typically savvy social media users, film themselves offering hugs to strangers during times of conflict to spread positivity. But you can simple squeeze a loved one before you head out for the day. If you do so and get into a conflict with someone later, your mood may be less affected, suggests a new study in the journal PLOS One. Finally, a free trend you can welcome with open arms. That's from Good Housekeeping. So yeah, PLOS1. I can't say that very well. I remember that sounding like a song, PLOS1. Anyways, hugs are beneficial because they connect you with people. It makes you feel like you're one with someone because technically your energies are together as one, right? So that's one of those omnibus feelings that isn't one of, if you look at it the right way, it becomes a positive feeling. Because if you're in that awkward situation and you go to give someone a hug, it's always like everything goes silent for a second because you didn't know if you're supposed to do it or how comfortable it's going to be, or if you do the side hug because you don't know how comfortable a real hug's going to be. There's lots of different outlooks on a hug, but nevertheless, like I just said, it turns down our response rate and can even boost our immune system. So give more hugs, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies, I'll take all the hugs you want to give. All the hugs you want to give, bring them. Bring them, I'm down. In Pittsburgh, 29-year-old Catherine Boyer-Smith was in the passenger seat of her boyfriend's car, allegedly smoking a joint. Not cool, not in the car, do it in the privacy of your home. Also in the car were her boyfriend's children, and one of whom is under the age of 6. Don't people understand weed gives contact high? Like, I mean, it's a literal thing. It will happen, especially to any children in the car. So you gotta be careful, man. One of the kids took a Snapchat video of Little Miss Pothead and sent it to his mother. The mother had not been aware of the issue until then, and she in turn called the police. Of course she did. You're basically, you could get that kid high from, I'm assuming the windows were down, because I can't imagine you hotboxing a car with a bunch of kids in the back unless you're trying to put them to sleep. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. But the premise of the deal is, why would you smoke weed with kids right next to you? It just doesn't seem like the right idea. One of the children told police that their father had been aware of Boyer-Smith smoking and that he was a frequent user himself, and the child had been with the father during a drug deal on a separate occasion. For now, Boyer-Smith was arrested and is being charged with 4 counts of endangering the welfare of children and 1 count of criminal conspiracy. It's ironic that they say the kid was in the middle of the drug deal. That's like saying your dad goes to buy beer and you're in the middle of the drug deal. I mean, it's weed, for God's sakes. It's not like they had to go to the ghetto to make that happen. Or maybe they did. So I think that's a little over the top. When I think of drug deal, I'm thinking like meth or heroin or cocaine or something like that, where you have to go to people that might have guns or in some ghetto apartment complex. This drug deal probably happened in the suburbs with some hippy-dippy dude that walked out and went, I got the best weed ever, man. You're gonna like this. Let's try it out. It's gonna be great. So I think the cops a little over the top. Especially because it's illegal in some states now, like Nevada and Colorado and Washington. I mean, it's not even considered a drug. It's no different than you buying beer or buying one of the other things. However, what is the same is the premise of not using in front of children. That is the thing that literally the line needs to be drawn. People think weed is so perfect and wonderful and this fantastic thing that just saves lives and everything. Like, they put it up on a pedestal. It's still a drug, and it can cause contact high. You shouldn't drink and drive. You shouldn't smoke and drive with kids in the car. Period. I mean, like, even the drinking and driving thing, I know we've all done it, and I've done it, especially when I was a kid. I used to do it all the time. When I was like in my teens and my early 20s. So the premise of not drinking and driving, I understand it's hard, but I never would have done it with a kid in the car. You know, I never would have smoked weed with a kid in the car. I've always been one of those people. So, that being said, this chick is an idiot, and I'm glad she got Snapchatted. However, the drug deal thing makes her sound like this miserably bad person, which she kind of is, but not that bad. Like, she took these kids to the ghetto to go buy weed. There's a lot of crackheads and meth heads and stuff that take their kids to drug deals all the time. I've seen it. So, that being the case, bad on her, and that little kid that Snapchatted her, she's gonna hate him for the rest of her for the rest of her life. I bet, because she's about to get screwed. Dude, endangering a minor is a horrible offense. If you get that, endangering the life of a minor or something like that, you are really, really screwed, and no judge is gonna be leaning on you, none. And speaking of protecting minors, leave it to the Japanese to create a smartphone that's smart from ourselves. And how do they do that? Well, Japan's Tone Mobile has launched Tone E20, the world's first smartphone that prevents users from taking inappropriate photos, hence nudes, using artificial intelligence to prevent users from taking nude photos of themselves or anyone else. The phone is aimed primarily at parents who want to protect children from predators. Now, here's the thing, before I get farther in the article, because I haven't read the whole thing, will it know that if you use an app, right? So if you're using Snapchat or Messenger or Instagram, or one of the other many apps that you can take pictures with, will it know that you're still taking a nude, or is it only with that camera? Well, however, the feature is only connected to the smartphone's camera. Aha! So it benefits nothing, really. It sounds cool, the premise of it sounds cool, but it won't stop the user downloading nude photos from the internet. Oh, wait. So it can also connect with other devices and notify their owner if the connected phone has clicked an inappropriate photo. So if you even look at adult photos, if it notices boobie, it's gonna tell your parents. If it notices wiener, it's gonna tell your parents. That's kind of burly, dude. You wonder why it took so long to come out with this. I mean, smartphones are pretty smart, and they have facial recognition. They should be able to have boobie and ass recognition, you know? Other than that, it's a relatively low-tech phone, featuring a 6.2-inch HD plus IPS LCD panel, 4 GB RAM, and 64 GB of storage. 3-sensor rear camera, and an 8-megapixel selfie camera. It is priced at $180 and is currently only available in Japan. I think that more phones are going to unleash this beast as it comes out, so be watching out for that. And if it's a phone for your kid, well, you care how great of a phone they have. Settle down, children. I mean, you want to keep them up to date. That's another thing. Like, I'm not going to buy my kid a $1,000 phone. Well, they're going to need to know how to use one of those phones when they get older. You know, so maybe you want to put in an extra effort to buy a more high-tech phone. But if you don't want them sending nudes, this is the way to go, and it's relatively cheap. So until it comes from Japan, we'll just bear witness, I guess. But as soon as it comes here, I'm sure Samsung and the Apple phones will be on it, and Windows, Pixel. I heard someone switching over to Pixel. I wonder if it's any kind of a good phone. I don't know, but if you're a parent, it probably sounds like a great experience. Thanks for being part of mine. It's VK Experience and the Spilt Milk Show with the Beat.